Recording going on my end.
Now, remember,
I'm giving you time.
Yeah, I think I'm basically SCREWED.
Recording in progress.
Well, Tim's getting his. Okay, well, I'd like to welcome everybody to the March edition of, this is April, aren't we? April edition.
I hope it is.
Got to get my months straight. April edition of the West Suburban Computer Club. I'd like to open up the floor for questions for the group. Does anyone want to pose any questions? Drew was talking about he inadvertently and accidentally, or he was doing it just to give himself an exercise in futility. He accidentally partitioned one of his drives that was actually was it a backup drive or a primary drive?
No, what I do is I don't have I run a lot of virtual machines and do downloads of big files, and instead of keeping them on my C drive, I keep them on a D drive, on an external SSD.
Uh-huh.
And it's fast enough that I can run VMs off the external D drive. And that's what I've been doing. Only I got lackadaisical about backing it up. And then today I was trying to help out a friend of mine who's having problems. And I wanted to create a multi-boot disk with Yummy. And when I said prepare the disk, it was pointing at D and not E. And
Now you said Yummy. What is Yummy?
Yummy is a toy that allows you to have multiple iOS or IMG images on a single drive and be able to do installation or running of the program that ISO or image represents.
Yeah, those would be ISO. You said iOS.
Okay. So you basically what it does is you download, ISO for Ubuntu, an ISO for Linux Mint, an ISO for this one, an ISO for that one, and you just copy the ISOs onto the disk. And when you boot into Yummy, which is a Linux format, which is why it's finding Linux, and it then presents you with a menu and says, which of these 4 operating systems that you put on here would you like to run?
Yeah. Now, you're already at a disadvantage because unlike a regular format or a Windows format, these tools do a destructive format. They erase and then they create the partitions. So your data are probably gone.
That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at in one program, I'm looking at a bunch of Linux stuff, and in the other, I'm looking at a bunch of garbage.
And likely that's what's going to remain.
And basically what I discovered is I'm learning a big lesson that I need to go back to my more stringent backup routines.
Are these things that you can somehow, some way reconstruct?
I mean, it's not the end of the world. I was going to do a presentation that I was needing to run off of that drive that I need to recreate. I need to redo a lot of stuff, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't have any of my personal accounting files or data files, or it's not the end of the world, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, the reason why I'm saying various things is I've been there and done that with a similar program, Ventoy. Got the wrong drive, hosed the external SSD. Fortunately, that was image backup all the way. It was image backed up except for the data partitions whose data had also been separately backed up in triplicate. I have 8, 12. I have 3 times 3 is 9 times 8. That's got to be 72 terabytes of total amount of backup drives. And they're in threes. They're in triplets.
Yeah.
That's how paranoid I am about this exact thing. And it did happen to me.
Yeah. Well, now it's happened to me for the first time in 25, 30 years. So um, I have to restructure my work routine.
Yeah, you've got servers and you automate things and you sync. Yeah, you know
I've
very
got
well it's nobody
I've got
else's fault.
multiple. I've got 5 PCs. So
Yeah, you need to automate things when you have that many. And you do. You're
and I
usually
have
the one.
SSDs that I move from one machine to the next. And those SSDs are important, which is why I normally buy them 2 at a time.
And they
Yeah,
can be so reasonable price. It's
SSD.
I buy a lot of the Samsung SSDs because I can get them in different colors, and I'll buy a blue and a red, and know that the blue is my primary and the red is my clone. And
Are these colors different quality grades or are they just
no,
different
the
colors?
same drive just sold in different colors.
Oh, wonderful. I do my enclosures in different colors.
whatever works. It works.
Yeah. But anyway, I put mine in enclosures. And as you were saying earlier before the meeting, Drew, with modern Thunderbolt and fast USB connections, unless you're trying to run Windows as a virtual machine, you're not going to run into speed or throughput issues unless you're doing things like media transcoding or other things that you need to do with an internal drive.
I run Linux mostly, but I run Windows too. And the Windows virtual machines work fine. I do them for doing demonstrations, testing software, installing things I don't want to install on my PC.
Yeah. Yeah, these SSDs are great for setting up virtual machines or ISOs that you're just going to play with and see what works and what doesn't and what you want to change and what you don't want to before you commit to doing anything that's going to actually go inside your machine. And the downside is what you just discovered. You've got to be really careful what you're formatting. And you've got to be really careful with these automatic tools.
I mean, otherwise today has been a normal day. I'm not drunk. I'm not on drugs. I just screwed up.
Yeah.
I don't.
I have sometimes done that. Usually it's when I'm rushing, but sometimes it's just I've got 4 or 5 or 6 different layers of abstraction going on, and I lose track of one of the layers.
Drew, I just posted in the chat a Reddit from a couple of years ago where somebody did the exact same thing. I swear this is your post. I accidentally deleted a partition from a 1 terabyte drive with Yummy.
Yep.
That's what it says.
Yeah, this is literally what it said. But it's from 2 years ago. Are you sure you didn't post this one? But you could read the thread. I just posted it in there.
Are you sure that wasn't? Are you sure that wasn't mine from when I did it?
It could be. It says WW, so it is a Linux question. So. I cannot tell you who wrote it because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. I looked at this a little bit earlier.
It doesn't go.
I'll have to read this more carefully.
Now, you know what? It looks like it kind of dead ends on this one.
It dead ends. It doesn't find a solution.
No, it didn't find a solution, but it did pop up in my search. So I thought that was kind of amusing.
Compared with NTFS Windows and the Windows formatting, you're much less likely to recover with Linux because Linux does destructive formatting. It doesn't just format. In Windows, you can do a light format and you might not lose any data. As a matter of fact, that's one way to recover an SD card that is kind of weak or that needs to have its partitions reinforced.
Two people are suggesting a program called Test Disk, which runs on Linux.
Exactly.
And they said, and try that. So I'll try that next.
Yeah, that'll get you Linux partitions. But if you've got other stuff in there that isn't Linux, I think maybe Minitool is one of the better tools.
Yeah, and I got the pro version on it, so
Minitool
we'll see
has
what
several.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. Minitool has several different programs. One recovers data. Another is the partitioning program, which can recover your partition tables.
Well, that was
So
a
maybe I have the wrong program. I have a data recovery tool. Do they have a partition recovery tool?
That's their partitioning program. There may be a paid feature, but their partitioning program can recover your partition tables if you're lucky.
Ooh, I got to try that and see.
But that still won't recover your data if it's been formatted destructively.
Yeah, I think I'm basically screwed.
Yeah, that's what I concluded in my case.
Well, if you can get anything back, that's good.
Yes and no. Depends on what you get back.
Yeah, it depends what you get back. Is it usable or not?
And I mean, these programs warn you over and over again what you're going to be doing and to make very sure that you check which one you're doing.
Oh,
And
they
still
have
it
a free
happens.
partition. They have a separate partition recovery tool.
Yes, they do. I've used it.
Built-in feature into the Minitool partition wizard.
I've used it. It can recover the partitions, but if it's Linux, the data will probably be gone.
Yeah. It doesn't say that it says that it supports Windows 10, 8, 7, Vista, and XP.
It'll
FAT
support
12,
it.
16, 32, NTFS,
Mm-hmm.
EX2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And EXFAT. So maybe it will work.
Yeah. It supports all of these, and it will recover the partition tables. It just won't recover the data within.
Yeah. Well, I'll try it out, and then I'll have some news to report back to you guys.
Sure. And if
Let
it
us know,
works,
let us know next month how it goes.
yeah. If it works, just say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I have there's a brewery in Sarasota where I live called Siesta Key Brewery, and they make rum, and it's 100 proof coconut flavored rum,
Ooh.
and I'm about to have a glass of that.
And we're all going to suffer here because you're getting the good stuff, and we're watching you drink this good stuff. Oh boy, you'll have to give us a report on the rum.
Yeah.
Drew, isn't this what you drank last time when you deleted your partition?
I haven't deleted a partition in decades.
No, I was the one who did that.
Bob did that.
I did that with Ventoy. Twice.
Yeah, it's similar tool.
Yep. I
Okay.
have to remind myself
I have
that one drive I want to save, unplug it.
So as a reminder, isn't this backup month, National Backup Month, or was that last month?
That was March,
Last month.
just ended.
That was March,
Just-
it ended? Okay, so we don't have to talk about doing backups anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Backup
Who needs
day was
backups for
December.
the rest of the year?
What's that?
Who needs backups for the rest of the year?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I have a question for the group. I have a Windows 10 PC. It's actually a computer stick. So it's extremely limited resources. The storage on that one, I believe, is only 32 gigs on that unit. So it's just enough to hold the operating system. And I've been running this more or less okay for years. The problem I have is it wants to download 22H2, and it can't complete the download because it doesn't have enough storage space. So what I did is I downloaded an ISO and made a bootable USB stick that would have the ISO of 22H2. So I go to do the update process, and it says it still wants to download like 4.6 gigabytes of something. And
Yep, it does.
And So it keeps failing. I can't get it to upgrade to 22H2.
Well,
Any ideas on how I can get around this?
two things. Number one, early in the setup of from the USB drive, it says I want to get updates, but usually before that starts, you can click on a URL link like uh, underneath it and say, no, I don't want to do it now. And
You
do
know,
it.
I did do that part. I know where you're talking about in the
Okay.
very where it gives you the options, check for updates, don't just proceed. And I chose not don't check for updates, yet
Right.
it still gave me the same problem.
Odds
So I
are
never could get it to
you're,
complete because it doesn't have enough elbow room to do what it's got to do.
that's right. It doesn't have the elbow room, and you got to have a certain minimum amount of space to be able to do an update on the drive
Yeah.
that's free.
One of the things that pops up on there is it says, well, you can use your external USB stick for storage, and there's plenty of room on the stick, but it still wants to load the download stuff onto the C drive instead of the USB stick or D drive.
Yeah. I don't know that there's a way to, even if you hook up an external drive, a way to tell Windows where to put the stuff it's using.
Right.
There is a device called it's like it's like a little triangle that has a USB, and then it goes into a Y and has two other ports.
Yeah.
I forget
Kind
the
of like
name of I forget the name of it though. I'll think of it on during the meeting. I use it to add external storage space to my Fire Sticks.
okay. Is it kind of just like the hub?
It's not a hub, it's just a cable.
It's just a cable.
And it's a Y cable.
They make USB Y cables.
Yeah, and there's a special name for them.
What's going on?
One thing I can think of, and this is just a shot in the dark, I've come across similar problems, but I always got around them. And it's a labor of love to try and get around them. But you need an external drive, and then on your C drive, you got to modify your paths like in old DOS and put two folders on the external drive, one called /TMP and one called /TEMP. Put those two paths to that drive
Want
in
to
the
repeat that? You said flash TMP,
you need two
Right.
folders,
right?
TMP and TEMP.
Oh, okay. All right. So just
And
not flash TMP, just it's
right.
going to say
And
TMP and
if
TEMP.
if the
Flash
external
with a
if the external
slash.
drive is a letter D, then in the path of the C drive, you have to put in D colon / TEMP, comma D colon / TEMP in addition to what's already in the path name. And that says, hey, if I need something, I can tell where things are at and use those spaces because TMP and TEMP are generic scratchpad memory.
Right.
But you're
So
going to
it would be,
after
if
you
I've got this right, it would be C colon / TMP space D colon / TMP. Or I'd use the word, I'm sorry, I got to use the word path equals, right?
well, you have already a path in there.
Right,
And you're
right.
going to append to it this external drive letter colon / each of the two drives. So you're going to have two entries appended to whatever path is in there. And you'll probably have to reboot the computer to make certain Windows knows those paths exist. Just because you added them right now, Windows may not recognize them until it's rebooted.
Okay. But I use a path statement, don't I?
Yes, you're using the path. It's
Path equals blah,
there's
blah, blah.
an alternate way of getting to it, and you can do a run command, which is the Windows key R, put in SYS, D as in David, M as in Mary, period CPL, and there's one up there about the environment, a tab labeled environment, and the path is in there, and you can add your stuff to that and then reboot the computer.
Okay.
It's a hairy thing. In Linux, I don't have that problem. I've got 32-bit drives, 32 gigabyte drives galore with Linux on them, and it's not a big issue. Trying to do Windows, that's almost twice the size of a Linux.
Right.
Yeah. And what Windows may do, although not in every case, is it'll create something called a junction, which redirects the original path to a new path.
Okay. So the problem I run into is even though I'm like stuck on this upgrade, it still wants to download as much as it can of 22H2, and it fills up the drive. And then I get error messages all the time that the drive is full.
And there are additional things that will download during the install.
Right.
And that makes up the other 4 gig.
See, you're downloading but 5+ gigabyte for the ISO image of 24H2, plus
Right.
any critical, not all, just the critical updates needed just in case something would go wrong without them. And then after you get it all installed, then you do an update and you'll get the non-critical changes to the system.
Okay.
And if you reboot, you may get yet more.
Yeah, that's a real possibility. It everything depends upon storage space, and really, it's been a long time since a 32 gig would be supported, and it would have been recommended at some point to go to at least 64 gigs.
Oh, I have a question. Does your computer stick have a USB port on it for an external drive?
Yeah.
I just went into ChatGPT, and it says that if you go into settings, Windows Update, and check for updates, and your main drive is low on space, Windows will, or at least should, prompt you to use an external drive for temporary storage. Select the external drive and continue the update process.
Right. Which I
And if that
tried.
doesn't work, there is a
Yeah.
way to change it manually.
Okay.
So what your compute stick lets you do is attach what to it is external storage.
Right, which is what I was doing. I used a external USB stick to load on 22H2 as an ISO. I was just hoping it would take and go, everything it needed would be on there instead of needing to download more.
Not with Windows.
Yeah, not with Windows. Well, this computer eventually is going to probably become a Linux box at some point if I can't get this to work.
Even Linux, when it upgrades, it'll want to download stuff.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, like I said, I'm an expert with it because I started off the Linux group on 32 gigabytes. And I've got probably 6 or 8 32 gigabit drives I use through USB or internally in a computer to run Linux and do most everything I want to do, except for the heavy workloads that I put on a regular Linux box that has 128 gigabyte drive on it.
Okay.
I'm going to post instructions in the chat in 1 second.
Okay, for me?
For you, yes.
Oh, you're so kind, Mr. Drew.
There we go. Win update external desk. And I'm going to have to fix ChatGPT's copy function. It didn't copy everything. I'll work on it while we're doing other things.
You could always email it to me too if you feel like it.
I can do that too. That way I'll have a little more time.
Right. And that's I don't know if you know my email address. It's mailman1110@gmail.com.
Oh, wait a minute here. Let me get this. Come on, edit. Let me edit the file. Oh, I'm in a web page.
How about we move on to a new topic?
Just can you put your email in the chat and then I'll copy it from there?
I'll send it to you.
Private chat.
All right.
Private chat.
Send it. Yeah, send it to me direct. You can send it to me directly.
Yeah.
And then I'll forward you the instructions that I just got on how to manually tell Windows to use an external drive for Windows Update.
Yeah, Windows is.
Yep, I got it.
It used to be that Windows would ask you for it, but I haven't seen that option in a long time.
Yeah, and in here, in ChatGPT's method number 2, it has a list of instructions on how to manually do it. And that's what didn't copy and paste directly out of here properly. So I'll copy it properly and email it to you.
Sure. Thank you. All right, we're ready for our next question, new direction.
Well, I have a question. It's probably an old one, but I'm looking for adding VPN to my system.
Okay.
Would you guys give me a suggestion on who's to use, who's to purchase?
You wanted a VPN?
Anyone in the group want to share their opinions on a particular VPN service that they use and have experience with?
VPN, there's Norton VPN. That's a popular one. There's a couple others ranked in the same general class, and I can't think of the names right off the top of my head. But Norton's,
Nord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can give you a handful of them. I see ExpressVPN. I see
That's another one.
Surfshank, NordVPN. I see Proton VPN.
Proton VPN.
Is somebody asking about VPNs?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
I'm a Nord customer and have been for years.
Yeah, I understand NordVPN is probably the best out there, but I figured I'd ask in the club, see what the guys have to say.
Well, I think it is. It adds if you're running on Windows, it adds additional malware and phishing attacks and ad blocking and does all kinds of nice stuff. And if you should choose to use it, I can send you a referral code that'll give us both 3 months free.
Yay!
There you go. Can't do better than that.
Free is
Okay,
good.
well, the only other thing I have to ask about the use of the VPN would be how is it for slowing down of speed?
All VPNs slow things down, but it varies VPN to VPN and where the server is located at compared to you. For example, if I wanted to see BritBox type movies, which is out of the UK, from here to Britain, I can VPN, but it's going to be painfully slow compared to, say, a VPN attaching to a machine here in Chicago area or in the Boston area, etc.
Right. NordVPN has servers located all around the United States and the world, probably more than anybody does. I have, according to Comcast, 800 megs of download speed on my cell phone, which runs Android and NordVPN. I get a download speed at home of around 650 out of the 800. And on Windows, I get about 500 or 600. I get less, but it's still fast enough that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay. And that was the main idea. I work with Android. T-Mobile is the way I have my connection. And I was wondering how much it's going to cripple me by using the NordVPN.
They all the VPNs, there's a penalty, but boy, does it vary from each one. You have to do a lot of research to find out what the penalty might be.
Okay.
And doesn't it change for each session you're running?
Potentially, because it's a case where what the internet is like between you and whatever server you're connecting to. And you have the option in good VPNs to change every time you have a session what server to connect to.
Right. NordVPN automatically selects what it thinks is the fastest server. I live in Sarasota, which is in Florida. For me, the nearest server is in Miami. That's the nearest for me. But if I connect to New York, for example, I don't see a degraded performance that you would say, "Oh my God, I can't connect to New York." I have a sports app that I use to watch sports. It only works outside the U.S. So I connect up to Canada, and I can stream sports games, even though I'm on the VPN connected to a foreign country.
Yeah, but there's a big difference between Canada versus, say, Europe somewhere.
Yeah. But I put the referral code in the chat. If anybody does want it, they can click on that, and you'll get 3 months, and I'll get 3 months.
That's a win-win.
Thank you.
So, Tom, why are you looking to go to a VPN?
Well, I understand that it's something I should have done a long time ago.
I think you said that you've been hacked once or twice.
Well, I've tried it, probably a freebie one once, and it just about choked me to death the way it cut down my speed.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
usual.
so I just dropped it.
Yeah, it's
But
usual.
it seems like there's too much too many outside things hitting me. When I'm working on my PC, it's very interesting to me how it may happen even with the VPN, but the screen will turn blue and it will say that the system is being updated. Don't turn off your machine. But the mouse is running around like crazy. So the first thing I do is shut down the machine, because it's not Windows doing the upgrade, it's somebody that's sneaking in the back door.
Right.
So I shut down the machine, and at the same time I pull the plug for the phone line on the back of the machine. Because a lot of times when I try to shut down the machine by the power button on the top, it doesn't let it shut down. So
sometimes you need to just press it. You get it to start doing the shutdown, and if it won't, you just press and hold that power button, and it'll turn off power.
Is it a laptop or a desktop?
Well, it's a tower, so I'll say it's desktop.
Desktop.
Yeah.
All right. So last case scenario, you can pull the power cord out of the wall.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I would pull the power cord out of the back of the machine. It's easier to get to the wall. But yes.
Well, it's
That would be the worst case. That would be the worst case scenario, but it'll work.
the power button. You have to hold it in for a minimum of 10 real seconds, and
Yeah.
it should shut off the power, and that should
Yeah.
be it.
It should shut it off permanently. I know my laptop does, but a good 10 or 15 seconds you need.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's been interesting when I see the whole screen turn blue and it's comes up with how it's you're getting your automatic update of the system from Windows. I'm going, wait a second, why is the mouse running around like it is? Then I know that it's not Windows doing it, it's some third party fooling with my machine.
Could be. Make sure you run the Malwarebytes, and there's an extra thing in the advanced settings to check for rootkits.
So this is a question now, you brought this up. If his system has been hacked and he went and goes and gets a VPN set up, is that going to prevent somebody from coming into his system?
Not necessarily. If they've got too much bad stuff on his system, they may already have a back door. The back door is a communications out through your internet connection, which is, say, through a VPN. It comes out somewhere else, gives them a new address that's not his normal address, but they can come back in and do more stuff. That's why you gotta, when you think you really have the problem, then you gotta bring in Malwarebytes. You start it up, let it get its updates, then disconnect the internet connectivity, or shut it off if it's Wi-Fi, and then proceed to let it do the scan. But if you really want to be paranoid, there's a advanced feature option, and unchecked is a rootkit. Real hackers will put in what's called a rootkit that the standard AV programs never find because they're not designed to find that rootkit. And Malwarebytes is one of the excellent ones that will find and try and remove the rootkits.
Okay, so Malwarebytes is a program I should purchase someplace?
You
Well,
don't
you
have
can
to purchase, you can get a free
You
version.
can use the free version.
Free version.
I thought I put it on your system long ago.
Just go to the start bar and type in Malwarebytes and see if it shows up.
Okay.
You may already have it and just haven't updated it or ran a scan in a long time.
That's right. And if you haven't been updating your freeware that I gave you a setup for, then odds are you have a very outdated piece of software to begin with.
Right.
Well, I've been keeping what you've given me up to date. Now, I may not know it as Malwarebytes, but
Malwarebytes is part of Patch My PC if it's checked off.
Yeah. So my question was that I posed out, and I think we kind of answered that. A VPN will not protect you from
no.
intrusions.
Not if they've already, it's a two-piece. If they're already in somewhat, you're not going to stop them with a VPN. If
Right.
they haven't successfully gotten in enough, then yes, it would stop them.
Well, say for example, you take your computer to a public Wi-Fi. When you are at Starbucks or a hotel or an airport or on a plane, you have other people that are on the network with you. And if you're using a VPN in that environment, all of your data between your computer and the VPN server is encrypted. So nobody on the shared Wi-Fi can access your data.
Right. That's what the VPN does. I understand that part, yes.
Well, that could also be even your neighbors. He lives in a condo. So
Yeah.
all your neighbors
Right.
could all be hackers trying to get all your information besides each other's information.
Because they got absolutely nothing to do during the day.
Why not?
Neither do I. Okay.
Right.
Now, the Malwarebytes. Now, where is it I should be typing that in? I brought the other machine up. Where?
Just go down to your start bar.
Yeah, go down to your start button and see what the list is and see if Malwarebytes is in there.
In the start bar, you should have a search, isn't it? You just type in the search, type
You can do that
Malwarebytes.
too.
Oh, I never even used that thing before down there.
Well, that's what it's for. And it may come up and say Malwarebytes app. And then if that's the case, just click on or hit enter on it. Should come up pretty easily. It's either, MALW might be enough to pull it up in the fuzzy search. Is it working, Tom?
I'm not seeing that, but okay, I'll just go down alphabetically and look at it. I don't see Malwarebytes out here.
Well, then
Okay,
go and
then-
put it on your machine.
Then in your Patch My PC piece of software should be on there. And there's 516 different pieces of software, and Malwarebytes free is one.
Windows
And you
Division
put
Pro.
you say, I want that one.
Clear space, run this clean.
I missed what you said there, Tim. Your voice is soft. I can't hear you.
I said there is you should have on there the Patch My PC piece of software. It updates all pieces of freeware software you have loaded, but it also allows you to add additional freeware software by checking it off and saying, I want it now. And out of 516, I just updated one machine. I have 37 pieces of free software. Patch My PC is taken care of.
Okay, Patch My PC is here.
Yeah. Now be careful. If you haven't run it in a long time, they are in transitioning from an old version to a new version. The old version didn't really do an install. It was a portable piece of software. Now they're using an install MSI version, avoiding the .exe type of installation software because the AV programs go bananas thinking, hey, this could be very dangerous to use. The MSI is not.
So he still needs to download. Sounds like he still needs to download Malwarebytes, correct?
Right. And once you run the Patch My PC, you look through there for Malwarebytes, check it off, and say, give me it.
Okay, well, I have the Patch My PC exec here saying, do you want to do it or not? I can see, yes or no. So I can click on yes. Yes.
Repeat that. What the message says.
Okay, do you want to allow this app to make changes on your device? And it gives you a choice of yes or no.
Well,
course,
what do you
yes.
think happens if you say no?
Well, it'll just not do it.
It won't do anything.
You have to say yes or it doesn't do anything.
That's right.
Well, you were starting to say that this may be an old version and something's changed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. What it'll do is it'll tell you that it's changing. It removes the old one automatically on your system. And then you have to go out to patchmypc.com/home and download the current version.
Okay, now that I can do. All right.
Oh, I have Patch My PC.
Excuse me.
Does Patch My PC know about Revo?
About what?
Yes.
About Malwarebytes?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been there in version 1 as well as version 2 that's now being used.
Yeah, I'm running it now to see.
If it says it's kind of a blackish screen and it's got installed in apps, the app
Yep,
says 516 on the new version. The old version didn't have that.
yep. I've got Patch My PC and my Malwarebytes is up to date.
Yeah. It'll tell you in red in the new version what's out of date, and then you can individually update ones, or you can say get my updates, and it'll do them all that are marked for being out of date, and we got a new update for you. This is why you got to have a standard routine monthly, not only of doing backups and getting rid of garbage that's on your system, but you got to also update any software that Microsoft doesn't update for you. And if it's freeware, Patch My PC is the greatest way of doing it outside of a Microsoft tool that Bob Primick uses that comes from Microsoft and will also download not only Windows updates but any of your other software. But that's
Right.
more
Yeah, that. Boom.
I just put into the chat the command called winget install Malwarebytes.
right.
Now,
Right.
one little caveat about Malwarebytes. You can get upstream non-beta dot versions. You don't get much value out of that, but they are available. In other words, it's not the version that you'll get from the main download page. There's usually one
You
or
know what I
two.
did discover and that you all need to be aware of is that they no longer allow you to separately download the Malwarebytes free from the Malwarebytes paid.
I
What you
haven't.
end up downloading is the trial version of the paid.
Right.
And
I
then
haven't had that happen.
If you use the Patch
I
My
did that a week ago, and that's all there was.
if you use the Patch
And
Yeah.
My
now like
if you
Mhm.
use the Patch My PC, you get only the free version.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
oh
why he's doing it that way. Yeah, because the free one is a version back, isn't it? Is it not?
No.
No, it's not.
the free
It's
one's
just
not
that
available for download on their website.
that's the problem. What it is at the Malwarebytes website. What are you going to advertise? The ones that you brings in money, or the ones that are absolutely free? So they take the free one and they bury it. And if you happen to find it, you might be able to get a download copy before you pass away.
Yeah.
What I have done is I know which dot version it is, and then I put that into a search, just a regular search,
Mm-hmm.
and there'll be about two or three different third-party sites that will be hosting an upstream version, not beta but upstream,
Right.
and it's a different link, and it's just the free version.
Right, and Major Geeks, softpedia.com, and there's several others.
There used to be File Horse, but I think they changed their name.
That could be. But there's a ton of free sites that seem to have pretty good reputations. File Puma comes to mind just now. Uh, there's another one that's free something too that has a pretty good rep, but I can't think of the last part of it. But
Yeah, Major Geeks is the main one of the third parties. There's also one I won't guarantee. Just a minute.
oh, another
I
one.
won't guarantee. I won't guarantee that all the sites that you found. TechSpot.
Yes,
That's one.
that's. I was just going to mention that too. TechSpot's another one that came to mind. Softpedia I use quite a bit.
Softonic does have it, but the ones that I prefer are Major Geek, and there is one called Up to Down, but it is kind of spotty. And TechSpot is okay. And those always come up pretty high in the results in an ordinary search.
Right.
And the main thing is they will have maybe a higher dot version. But the only free version, here's what Macrium says at their website. The only free version of Reflect we offer is the 30-day trial. Any free versions of Reflect are no longer available or supported.
I still use it.
Now, where does it say that?
I use both the paid version of Macro Reflect on some machines that are more important, and on the lesser ones, I use the free version.
Oh, wait a minute. This was Macrium Reflect. I'm not doing the right thing. Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes.
But I even use
What am I thinking?
the Macro Reflect free rescue media.
We're talking about Malwarebytes. All right, the ones that
Malwarebytes
come
is
up.
different than the other one.
Yeah, I was just
The
somewhere else.
Macrium Reflect.
Yeah. When I
That's okay. They start with MW.
Malwarebytes free
M-
download. All right, now we're back on track here. Malwarebytes. I don't know why I typed the other thing. Yeah, Softonic comes up high. Yeah, again, up to down comes up, and I'm not sure of how good a site they are. Major Geeks. There it is. And then if you specify which exact dot version you want, you may get different results. But if you drill down any lower than about where TechSpot comes in, I would be very, very cautious. By the way, March 21st, 2025 is the last time they seem to have done an update. So yeah, it's available without the free trial.
Yeah, it's just a headache. That's one of the bad things I don't like about the Malwarebytes. If you want the free version and you go to their site, it's going to take you a long time of searching to find it on their site. But you'll eventually find it. It's just, do you want to spend that much time versus trying something like Patch My PC, Wget, or some of these other third-party repositories of software.
Yeah. The problem I'm having now is that even though I've tried to disable everything that auto starts, something is still running because every few days in my system tray, Malwarebytes pops up a message saying, "Hey, would you like to buy some software?"
Oh, okay. Those kind of pop-ups, and yes, I get them too. They're not generated through your internet connection. They're in the DLL files of the downloaded software you installed on your system. So
Yes.
those ads are down there in the DLLs that they update periodically. I get 3 consecutive messages most of the time when that stuff pops up. You get
Yeah,
number
and
one.
I can't find any Malwarebytes that's running as a process
No,
in
it's not.
Windows.
It's the DLL that's causing it, and it's not labeled Malwarebytes. It's in the services. One of the services is using referring to the DLL file to play the ad.
Yeah, and I might uninstall this completely with Revo uninstaller and then install the one from Patch My PC that is the free one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll still get those pop-up ads. I guarantee you, because I've used
Oh, you're
nothing
still
but
going to get them?
I use nothing but the free, and I can take your trialware and turn it into freeware immediately after I install it. Because all you got to do is go to a setting and deactivate the trialware.
Now, I don't let anything from Malwarebytes run in the background, and I don't use their browser. So that's the only reason I don't get all these pop-ups. Otherwise,
They have a good browser plugin for browsers, but
Yep.
If you install their full trialware version, then you're going to end up with those pop-ups forever.
Yeah, probably.
No,
Because there will always be some protection.
I
of
guarantee
theirs.
you that it will pop up on the free version because that's all I've ever used is the free version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I still get those damn pop-ups.
Yeah, and my trial has ended. I don't have any Malwarebytes processes running.
And right now, that's classified. If you look at the title up in the upper left, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I say, what I do is I go into the tray, I right-click on the Malwarebytes icon that looks like the bat signal, and I completely close it. I exit Malwarebytes. It objects and insists on confirmation, and I confirm.
Oh, it's there.
That closes the background processes. And that's only if you only want to use it as a scanner, not as ongoing protection.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any ongoing protection, including the browser guard, you have to let it run.
Yeah, and most of the free version has few extra scanner guards. But what he's talking about is down in your sys tray, near your right side, you have an up caret. You bring that up, and depending on your eyesight, you're looking for that blue bat-like emblem of an M. Right-click it and say, I want to close it, and then confirm.
Yeah, the bat signal. But I have my tray set up so that everything shows. I don't like anything hidden. Excuse me. It makes for a rather lengthy system tray, but I know there isn't anything going on that I'm not aware of that I should be. So I'll see things like Windows Automate, PC Manager, and all that kind of stuff right there in the tray.
Okay. Next question, new direction.
There's a couple tools in the Microsoft Store, but you do have to be signed into your Microsoft account to get them. One of them is called WinToys, and one of them is called Windows Tools. Both free. You might want to take a look at them and see if there's something in either one of them that you might like to have working for you.
Do you want to show those to us, Tim?
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
you said it was WinToys and Windows Tools?
Yes. I got to get off the...
Isn't there a PC Manager that Microsoft has?
That's in there too.
And there's also PowerToys.
Yeah, on PowerToys.
Right. And PowerToys is on the verge of getting an upgrade. I've been waiting for a long time. I read about it in the news. It hasn't come out yet. The software program management interface that Microsoft has called Winget is a command line driven app. And PowerToys is soon going to have a GUI for Winget.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh. I may actually end up using it.
Come on. I'm taxing this system. Boy. Here we go.
That's okay. If you crash yourself out of the meeting, we'll carry on without you somehow.
Yeah, we'll manage.
Come on, come on. This system
Okay, this is
is.
WinToys.
I'm doing a recording of the meeting,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
have a browser that had to be going to get in. So this is really taxing this old system. It's going to be retired by the end of May, anyhow.
If you can recover my data, I'll buy you a new mini computer.
I've I've got minis, but mine are different than the usual minis. Mine are 7 by 7 by inch and a quarter. Those were the traditional minis, and then they came down with the 5 by 5 uh, platform.
A friend of mine, Mike Ungerman, who some of you may know, is bought a mini computer that he's running Linux on from a company called B-Link, and he's having all kinds of overheating problems.
Yeah.
They put the power supply inside the device,
Yes.
and he just purchased another mini computer to replace it, that has the power supply outside the computer.
Yeah, that's what the Intel NUC always did.
Okay. This is WinTools. This gets you an old looking version of what was in the control panel. And then you have PC Manager, which I have running anyhow. And come on, that's PC Manager. They've added some new features lately that are very, very interesting. Uh, Besides cleaning out some of the memory that wasn't released by a program that's no longer using it, you have protection systems that you can adjust from here. You have storage. Deep cleaning is just one of them. You can look for large files, duplicate files, storage sense. You can turn it on or off. You got apps that give you various capabilities like startup apps. There's umpteen ways of getting to startup apps in a Microsoft system. And your Microsoft Store you can access from this thing. You got the toolbox. Well, if you have this on up here, you get a little toolbar that I can have anywhere on the computer. Right now it's on my right side. I can put it at the top or the left side. You can't put it on the bottom because we already have a bar down on the bottom. And once I've got it set up to go on one of these sides, there's 3 buttons or a gear, and I can click on that and I can add things, features to this bar, such as a calculator if I use it periodically, Bing translator, currency converter, weather, images, captions, notepad, recorder, screen folder, screenshot folder, and screenshot can all be added to that little taskbar. You have down here to restore features or settings, and in the settings, this I think it's this one here. There's uninstall residential reminder. I think is the new one, or it's the one right above it. Get a reminder on downloaded documents. And then you have feedback in case you come across a problem or you have a suggestion for a new capability. It's maintained and programmed by Microsoft programmers. Let's see if I can get back into one of these others. The one that I want to bring up the most, that's Windows Tools. This is an add-on that brings up File Explorer to show you the tools and give you an easier access than typing in control to bring up control panel in the search, click on that, and bring up the regular control panel and go from there. Let's see if I can bring up WinToys. I couldn't before.
I use the God mode folder to get to all of the control panel stuff.
Oh, I don't. I evaluated God mode a long time ago, and I found it to be a big headache compared to some of the other tools that are out there that do basically the same thing. One of them is WinArrow. WinArrow is graphical. It'll give you at
Right.
least a little bit of information about what each of these things do.
I put the WinArrow link in the chat.
Yeah, WinArrow is a good one too, but why this one unlock the full potential? Yeah. Keep space, personalized
Um,
desktop. Because I'm on a very loaded down system right now, it doesn't want to run and show you what normally comes up. Sorry about that. And Power Toys I have here too, but I think it's up to date with the current version. Come on,
didn't
let's
get
see
it
if I can
all.
bring that up. I usually keep it off on this machine and bring it up only when I need to. On some other machines that have more horsepower and memory, I may leave Power Toys run all the time. Ain't looking real good for bringing it up. We're still in preview. It'll tell you Power Toy preview because they
Yeah.
haven't gotten to version 1 yet. No, it don't look like it's going to run. So I'll stop it there.
I have Power Toys running on my machine if you want to
Go ahead. You can share.
show something.
You can share.
All right. Share. All right. And let's get rid of this hide floating media. All right. So this is Power Toys. And it has over here categories, dashboard, general, system tools, Windows layout. In the dashboard, it shows all of the things that I have turned on. Image resizer, find my mouse. If I tap on the control key twice, it puts a little spot on over my mouse. So if you have a small mouse or you're doing a presentation and you want your mouse to be highlighted like this, you can do that with Power Toys. Peek is a very good quick viewer for image files. Mouse without borders. If you have two computers side by side, you can have your mouse go from one computer to the other computer screen as if they're one computer, and your keyboard will operate the computer where the mouse is. Power Rename is a great program if you download to your computer a lot of pictures from your camera and you want to rename 100 files or 1,000 files to be a different name with a different pattern. Power Rename is a really great tool. And if you have a folder with a bunch of files in it, this is not the right layout, but if I right click here, I can do rename with Power Rename, and it will Power Rename. Now I have, these are the original file names, and I can replace the file name only with certain text. If I want to replace dat, .dat. Well, this is not working because these are not sequential files. But if you have sequential files that are labeled by number, where they have a bunch of text in them that you want to get rid of, you can match all occurrences and say that you want to get rid of the word help. And it should come back. That's not. I'm going to get out of this because I'm getting myself into trouble.
Mhm.
You did that once already.
Yeah. Text extractor is a good tool for extracting text from an image on the screen. Say you're on a Zoom call and somebody is sharing their screen and they have a web page with a hyperlink in it. You can use text extractor to grab that hyperlink out of the Zoom meeting. I've done that before. Under system tools, it has Powershell basically means that if I hit the Alt and space, you'll see that I have a box here and I can start typing. These are commands that I've typed in before. And if I want to open up a command prompt, I can open up a command prompt this way rather than having to go to the menu. I just hit Alt space. Let me hide these meeting controls again. Under let's see, text extractor we did. Windowing and layouts, always on top is a good way if you're doing a presentation and you're sharing a screen of an app and you want that app to be on top all the time. Always on top will enable a window to be on top of everything all the time. Input and output has keyboard and mouse utilities. The mouse utilities allow you to do all kinds of neat stuff to the mouse. And that's most of the stuff that's in here. But you can find is an advanced paste, which is similar to the built-in paste in Windows 11. Advanced paste is nice. So I highly recommend PowerToys. I find it to be a very useful tool. And you don't use all of them, but you'll pick 2 or 3 that you find useful for yourself. So PowerToys from Microsoft, it's available in the Windows Store. WinArrow Tweaker, Tim talked about a little bit. If you're on Windows 11 and you don't like the File Explorer to show, when you click here, when you click on a file, you get this Show More Options menu. And if you want to see everything, you got to do that. With WinArrow Tweaker, you can change that. I don't have it running right now, but you can change that so that when you click here, this option is gone. It just shows you the whole thing all at once. If I run WinArrow Tweaker, oops, let's get out of there. Let's see if I can run it. WinArrow Tweaker. Under Windows 11, oops, why did it run WinDirstat? Menu, WinArrow Tweaker, and open. WinArrow Tweaker, yes. So now if you go into, there's an option for Windows 11.
Yes.
Windows 11 classic context menus. If I enable classic full context menus, and then you restart Explorer, now when I go into File Explorer and I click on a file, it's going to show me the whole menu. So you can do all kinds of little tweaks to your computer with WinArrow Tweaker.
I gave a presentation on that within the last 6 months.
So I will stop the share and turn the presentation back to Tim.
Yeah, I did a presentation in the last 6 months on Winter Tweaker for CCS, and I don't remember exactly what meeting it was in, but that's out probably out on the YouTube channel as far as that goes. But it's a tool I like better because they give you information about each of the possible changes so you can read at least something, and that way if you don't like it, you don't touch the setting. Um in God mode, you just get all the settings. You don't get explanations of what it's about, even abbreviated explanations. So, and also you can even cut off some of the Microsoft telemetry in one arrow tweaker. If you run it on 10, you get a few less, maybe about 10 less items than if you run it on 11. It automatically recognizes the change from 10 to 11, and you'll have a block of 11 stuff that you can look at.
This here right now is the God mode list.
Right.
And if you see at the top, I created God mode on my desktop. So it shows in File Explorer. So when I click on it here, I can change the default settings for media devices, play CDs automatically. So it changes autoplay,
Nice.
change how backup and restore works, change how the date and time works, change all your printers and Bluetooth settings, ease of access center. This gives you a different way of looking for things that you, as
One,
Microsoft moves things between the control panel and settings, this will show you some of the things that are still in one area or the other. So God mode is a good thing to try. Some people don't like it, but I think it's a good thing to have, especially if you're a novice and you don't know what you're doing and you just want to find something to look at. Uninstall a program, turn Windows features on and off. You may not know how to do that without looking through this list and finding something that looks interesting. So this is God mode, and you can search the internet for God mode for Windows, and it'll tell you how to do it.
God mode has been around since what? Windows 7?
no, I think it was 8.
I don't know.
I don't think it existed in 7.
Has anyone else here played with these programs? Oh, we got something new here.
I've played with any number of Windows utilities. My favorite ones are found in PowerToys. I'll be looking into WinToys. I've tried WinArrow tweaking. I don't like to do too much tweaking because then some kind of an update happens and you have to redo it.
Oh.
But you can save a config file for most of these and get back to where you were fairly easily. And I do use the power. Let's see what it is. PowerShell. I do use the PowerShell way of checking for Windows updates before I let the regular update mechanism run, just in case there are drivers I need to get rid of. I need to hide. Everything else, I just let it go. Yeah. And like I say, I have that secret way of getting the Malwarebytes free without the trial.
Right. And I use a third-party Winget utility that you might like, Bob. I might show that to you offline.
I think you've mentioned it before. Winget-based
Yeah.
or Winget-like utility.
Yeah, it's a great program. It really is. I should actually show this to you guys real quick because
Go ahead.
it's
What's it called?
um it's called Uniget UI.
Uniget UI, yeah.
Uh Hide floating controls.
Okay.
Uniget UI. This is a third
Oh,
party
Uniget.
graphical user interface for managing packages on Windows. So right now, it has identified 17 packages on my computer that can be upgraded. LibreOffice, Google Chrome, Free Download Manager, Betterbird, AnyDesk. All of these have upgrades available, and they're all come down through Winget. And if I want to, let's say I want to upgrade RustDesk, I can right click on it and say update, and it will go out to RustDesk and download the software. Because what happens is Microsoft maintains the database. And here it is. RustDesk was updated successfully. No prompts, no questions asked. It does it all in the background. If you want, you can do an interactive update where it will ask you questions. But by default, it suppresses all the prompts and just updates the software. If you are going to the Discover Packages section, let's say I want to load a program called 7-Zip. I just type in 7-Zip and it'll find it. And here's the 7-Zip. And if I want to have it installed, which I don't because it's from Russia, this is how I would install 7-Zip. I can install it. And there are over 5,000 programs in this database. And if you go in here and you search for software, you can load any one software that's free, software that's paid. You can search by name. You can search by topic. You can search by keyword. You can say video editor. And it will look for programs that the manufacturer, here's OpenShot Video Editor that I have installed. It will find software where the manufacturer used the word video and the word editor as a tag.
By the way, Drew, you said that 7-Zip is a Russian program. It is not. It was developed by Igor Pavlov, who is a Russian national, but it's an open source program, and he's always been part of the open source community.
But where does he reside? Does he reside in Russia?
It makes no difference because, you're getting into the same thing the Linux kernel developers got into, where just because of where somebody lives, they can no longer contribute. That's just garbage. Absolute garbage. Pavlov has no connection with the Russian government.
Because I'm in Windows and Linux, I switched to another open source program called pzip. Pzip is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and it does everything that 7-Zip does, only it's cross-platform, whereas 7-Zip is Windows only. But this allows you to install any one of thousands of programs. And if you go to Winget.run, this is a database of 4,300 packages. You type in whatever by name, publisher, description, or tag, and it will find any one of the 4,315 packages that Microsoft knows about. So let's say, for example, you want to update Zoom or run Zoom. You just type in Zoom, and here are all of the Zoom programs. And this is the main one. And this will let you copy the command that you type in on the command line with Winget to do the install. If I click on the plus sign, it adds it down here to what will eventually be a script. If I click on, let's say I click on 3 plus signs, now I've got 4. If I go over here 4 packages have been selected. Maybe I pick LibreOffice and Zoom and some other photo program and one other program. I can now download from here a script, which is a PowerShell script. And you run this in PowerShell, and it will install these 4 programs. That's kind of neat. So if you work in a business where you have employees that have to have computers that need to have 5 or 10 specific programs installed, you want them to have Adobe Acrobat Reader, you want them to have Firefox, you want them to have Zoom, you want them to have this, that, and the other. You can create a PowerShell script from this website without any programming and distribute a PowerShell script to 1,000 people, and it will install those same 4 programs on everybody's computer. So this is a very useful website for batch installing software. Some people like the website Ninite. Ninite has a lot of really old software. It doesn't have 4,000 packages, and it can't auto upgrade them either. So this is a Winget.run is a useful website for everybody to learn about.
Yeah, when they made the GUI interface that you first introduced,
And
it was a win.
PowerShell, it's coming to PowerShell. So once PowerShell gets upgraded, it will have all of this built in.
Well, what I was trying to get at was the uh, Winget was originally the name of this Winget.run, and they made this other piece of software he first showed you that was also called Winget. So then they renamed the darn thing to
Yes,
stop
yes.
confusion between the two because they are different. And PowerShell, if you're not familiar with it, is like the old command shell that's like MS-DOS days.
Hmm.
And so the script he's talking about, you copy it, paste it into a PowerShell, and run it. On night
Yeah,
on Night Night, if you down you select umpteen pieces of software on Night Night, you'll do a simple download. That's a script also. You click on it and in File Explorer and run it. It'll download all those pieces of software. Say a month from now, you can click that. If you keep that script, you can double click it again and it will only download those that have a change. So it does do
yes.
updating of what you had
Yep.
installed, but you have to
Hmm.
keep the script. If you don't keep the script, then you have to update in
Yeah.
another manner.
Yeah, you could have a technician with a flash drive and he goes around to all the employees' desktops, plugs it in, runs the PowerShell script, and everybody's computer looks the same.
Mm-hmm. And you can, in a sense, if Night Night does everything you need, you can do the same thing there, or that Winget.run. All three, conceptually, if you keep the script, you can keep running it month after month, and it will update any installed packages that have changed.
Yeah, if I have 5 PCs here. If I reinstall Windows 11 Beta and I have a clean machine, I'll run a PowerShell script on it, and after it's done, I'll have Firefox, Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and 20 other programs that I want to have on there.
All by just the one script. You execute it, and it will download fresh copies to that machine.
Yep.
Thank you, Drew.
You're welcome.
Any more questions on this topic? It was a good topic. How did we get here?
I'm preparing a Winget presentation for AppCug.
Yeah, the way we got here was that we were talking about Malwarebytes and where to
Right.
get it. And then we
That's what,
branched
yeah,
out.
that's,
We branched out
yeah,
into other tools,
This
Windows
is
tools,
okay.
WinToys, etc.
yep.
And then we got into these updating tools that will update everything.
So while we were discussing all this, Tom said he was going to download and install Malwarebytes. Did you do it?
Well, yes. And all I can say is that I had a question still about Malwarebytes. It's currently going through a checking for updates. So I've only been doing it for 31 minutes. And what can I say? It is also the premium trial. It's not the free version.
Well, you can change that.
Well, even the premium trial will still do what you need it to do.
Right.
Well, I understand that. It's for 14 days a trial, so I'll have to figure out how to make it the free version.
It'll do
Right.
it automatically.
It'll revert to the free version automatically in 14 days.
Yeah, in 14 days, it automatically becomes free, or you can go into the menu up in the upper right area and under the subscription, there's one that deactivates the free trial. And you can go through and deactivate the free trial and it becomes automatically the free version. One thing you do have to watch out for is sometimes you have installed programs that will have parts of the program flagged as PUPs, probably unwanted programs. And the bad part is if you leave them check marked, it's going to remove them to quarantine or delete them. And suddenly those programs don't run anymore. And you have to download another version of the same program again to get a running version. And every time you
Yep.
run Malwarebytes, leaving them checked, you're going to have that. So there's a way of shutting off and saying on pups, only warn me, and it will leave them unchecked. But real malware will still show up as checked. Then you have to examine all the unchecked ones to make sure they are pieces of software you installed on your system and you are still using, to leave them alone. If you see anything unchecked that doesn't comply with what you installed and are running on your system, put a check mark in and have it removed.
Okay, will it have a name that I'll recognize somehow?
Maybe the path.
This gets into trying to show that, and I don't know if I've got enough horsepower on the machine to do it or not. Hang on a minute.
Just Tom, it's more like know it exists. That you may identify a file and tell it to quarantine it, and then you go and run a program and it says I'm missing a component or I can't run and it fails. That's the reason why that happened. So you're not beating your head up against the wall. But that doesn't mean that every file that it's identify as potentially malware is actually not malware. So I would say err on the side of caution. Go ahead. Tell them to quarantine them.
Okay.
You know,
I can do maybe a show of some of that on the Malwarebytes.
while we were running this meeting, I ran Malwarebytes and I only found one item, one pup. So it's not like you find a ton unless you have a ton.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have two machines. Okay. This is a trusted advisor. It's an add-on thing, giving you some idea of what it thinks of your system. It says current score is 69% good. it thinks there's one issue to be reported. I'll look at that later. But you get in here, and if you go to scanner, and there is a new version that has a slightly different look, advanced scanning. And if you go into custom configuration here, this is where you can check to do rootkits. And trust me, if your regular scan on your system says it's going to take about a half hour to do, you can probably multiply that by 4 when you do the rootkit check. So it's root checks are usually only done like maybe once every 3 months. And
When I run rootkit checking with Malwarebytes, it usually finishes doing that in less than 20 minutes. So you must have a different root file system.
Well, it depends upon also how much you got out there at the same time too. But if you also come back to this screen here, you got the gear. That's the menu. And you can come in here under security. I can scroll down and I can say potentially unwanted items or pups. I only want a warning. PUMs are left always active, so they'll put a check. Any pups that it finds, it will not put the check mark in. You have to look at it. And it would be hard for me to do a scan and show you some pups and show you how to do it. But basically speaking, you have to understand how File Explorer even works. In the titles, you have a box that says file name. You have a box that's the date, and other boxes for other categories of the column information. You can click on the separator between columns and widen them or narrow them accordingly. And you can find out, is this a software here name one that I install? If it is, I assume I still want it. If it is not one I installed, I would question it. But the other thing is under account, it right now says I can activate. But if you've got the premium trial version, you have an option in here to deactivate it. You got to confirm to deactivate it, and you may have to reboot your computer. There's lots of tools. That's the thing. You have to go through a lot of stuff to find out what you really got. And there's a lot of things you have on your system right now, including Bert, who has a plain vanilla 11 install, no third-party pieces of software.
Yeah.
And there's probably a ton of features that are inactive or active that he wishes were not active. You got to go in and find the stuff by looking at what each one has for settings and or preferences, or you got to do searches on the internet or use an AI like Copilot or some other one and ask it appropriate questions how to activate or how to deactivate something. And most people don't do this stuff. They just take whatever gets installed, that's it. And if it doesn't do what I want, I'll get another package, even though I already have a package that'll do the same thing if I activate something or deactivate something.
Yep. This is what keeps me in business when I do my consulting jobs.
Yep.
Pays the bills.
But without it,
Yeah, I mean, I there's a new community down the street from me that I'm an IT guy in the community now. A woman that I did work for 3 or 4 years ago in her home kept my number. She moved into this adult living facility for people over 50. but independent. And she couldn't figure out how to connect her printer. The cable company guy came in and hooked up her computer PC, but not her printer and not her phone. And she didn't know what to do. So I came in, she called me, and I hooked up her phone and everything, and her printer, and then I printed up a bunch of flyers that she brought to the office. And as elderly people moved into the building and didn't understand what they were doing, they all called me.
That's pretty good.
Well,
Yeah,
good job.
I found out the same thing happened with me. I live in now a community that is older people. It's age restricted. And the installers seem to love to stick us with obsolete equipment. They love to do installs that are only partial installs, only get a few things up and running that they think everybody will want. And everybody's left wondering, why doesn't this work? Why doesn't that work?
Yeah, I mean, my niece's husband's grandmother moved into a facility in Sarasota, and she was complaining about buffering on her TV.
Yeah.
And her grandson went over to her house and ran speedtest.net on his cell phone and from their Wi-Fi and couldn't get more than 6 megabytes per second down.
Oh,
Well, I used to have a client,
and she's paying for a gigabit, right?
where he lives.
She's paying whatever the fee is. Yeah.
The client that I had, where he lived, if he only lived 2 blocks north of where he did live, he would have great internet connectivity. As is, he found out from the ISP that he lives in a black hole that they are never going to update the infrastructure in. And with that carrier, he would only get 2 megabits per second or less in speed.
Time for another carrier.
Yeah, you know what's great for technology? Hurricanes.
Yeah.
Hurricane Ian in Florida took out all of the cell towers from Verizon and AT&T and T-Mobile. They were all gone. There was absolutely no cell service during the hurricane. I couldn't text my family. I couldn't make a phone call. Couldn't do anything. And they put up really strong, tall towers. And prior to the hurricane, I had 4G in my house. Now I've got 5G ultra wideband in my house.
Wow. So I guess that is a good thing. They just level the field and start building back up again.
Well, I'm sure that's.
And well, when we had Hurricane Helene come through, CNN actually used the cell towers rather than satellites to do their broadcasting because they were better.
Yeah, and this applies even to some of the tornado situations too, in that, because it knocks out the old infrastructure a lot of times, and they have to upgrade that infrastructure as they're making the repairs, improving things in that particular area.
In Boston, we have our own unique kind of disaster that wipes out all the existing infrastructure, and they have to start over. It's called a water project.
Well, you have a lot of towns in your area that are really, really old and have rules. I know the people that live in your area that don't have cell towers in their towns because they don't want them.
Well, you don't need these big cell towers any longer with 5G. 5G uses shorter wavelengths in urban areas. And in the 6 gigahertz band, you need closely spaced breadbox-sized antennas. And those are very inconspicuous.
They can put them right on light poles.
Yeah.
They do. About every second or third light pole.
Right.
You walk outside my house now, you can see the cell towers better than you can see the Empire State Building in New York, because they are huge. They're designed to not come down in hurricanes.
Well, I just read recently, 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, 9G, 10G, 11G, 12G, 13G, 14G, 15G, 16G, 17G, 18G, 19G, 20G, 21G, 22G, 23G, 24G, 25G, 26G, 27G, 28G, 29G, 30G, 31G, 32G, 33G, 34G, 35G, 36G, 37G, 38G, 39G, 40G, 41G, 42G, 43G, 44G, 45G, 46G, 47G, 48G, 49G, 50G, 51G, 52G, 53G, 54G, 55G, 56G, 57G, 58G, 59G, 60G, 61G, 62G, 63G, 64G, 65G, 66G, 67G, 68G, 69G, 70G, 71G, 72G, 73G, 74G, 75G, 76G, 77G, 78 they're getting ready to eventually release 6G. That'll
Yeah, but what is 6G? 5G was just a brand name. It didn't really mean
Right.
anything
And
in terms of what band it was or what speeds it was. 6G is also just branding.
yeah, it's
Yeah, and 5G also depends on your service plan. You can have a 5G plan that has terrible service, and you can have a 5G plan that has great service. Verizon is a perfect example. They sell plans, that are $100, $150 a month, and you get great 5G service, but you're paying $150 a month.
Right.
Now, in my area, Comcast Xfinity has their own mobile service.
Um,
And that is
uh,
more expensive than what I use because I use US Mobile.
Okay.
I subscribe to a company called Visible, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Verizon, and I pay for their premium plan, which is $45 a month. And I got grandfathered in because I was a long-term customer, so I pay 35, and I get access to the ultra wideband. I can get 300 megs download on my cell phone from while I'm driving in my car.
Wow. That's pretty good. I'd like to move on from the subject, though. We have maybe 10 more minutes. And before we get into any of our last questions, I did want to point out to everybody, everybody here already knows that these videos are posted on our YouTube channel. So I encourage you to go to the YouTube channel. And if anything, watch one video and give a thumbs up on it. That's all I ask from the attendees here. The other thing is Beata had sent out, or the society had sent out a poster, or basically an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, that we were encouraging members to print out and take to their local library, community center, or church, or someplace that has a community bulletin board. Libraries, you just present it to the library and ask them to post it, and they'll review it and generally post it. They may keep it up there for 3 months, and you may need to come back and do it. But I ask everybody here to at least go to their local library and present one of these posters to their library. I put them out in probably a dozen locations already, and had every library that I've taken it to has all been encouraging and happy to see it, because the big banner on there says free computer help. So just trying to increase our numbers. So please.
Well, that brings up an idea I have for you, a
Yes.
proposal. Um, I'm the webmaster of the Sarasota Technology User Group.
Okay.
I could create a new page. This would be a new page in our website,
Okay.
that I've been thinking about doing, for reciprocal groups. Like we're a member of AppCug, and there are other groups around the country that I know I belong to that are members of AppCug. And like, for example, your YouTube videos are on your website, which is not on my website. But if I create a new page for third-party AppCug related groups, I could put a link to your site so that people who are in Sarasota can say, "Hey, look at all these other groups that we know," because we're members of AppCug.
Right.
Look at all these other groups that have videos I can watch.
I think that's amicable of you offering to do that.
yeah. One
So I
thing.
put my email in the chat. It's drew@doodles.simplelogin.com. And if you want to send me an email about doing that, just let me know.
Tim, you'll pick up on that?
Oh,
Oh, well, Tim's more
I
involved on AppHub
just want to
than
get your goat.
Tim
We
will pick up with that and move it forward.
we don't have real people with skills on web pages, and if you go to the ccs.org website, you'll see what we got, which isn't much.
But we got stuff on there.
Well,
and
my website is a basic HTML pages
Mhm.
that I develop with Microsoft Expressions 4. So if anybody's looking for help in that area, I can help in that area too.
We definitely need help, but we're not doing HTML. We do it. Ours is using, what is it? WordPress? WordPress.
WordPress, yes. Mine is the more old-fashioned technology.
And look, this is how ours got set up, and we're kind of, that's the arena.
WordPress is very, very popular, but it's also very complicated.
It is a little complicated. We struggle sometimes on making changes to the site because it's just not as necessarily intuitive.
I'm on the board of directors for a group in Boston called the Boston Network Users Group,
Mhm.
and they've been pleading with me to learn that program interface because our website there uses that, and our longtime web manager left the group, and none of us know how to use that interface.
Okay. All right. We got time for one more question? Anyone have a last question for the group? None. Oh,
Well, somebody's got something.
somebody's got something. Dennis has been pretty quiet. Dennis, which machine are you using today?
I'm using the Chromebook.
You're using the Chromebook.
Right.
Why aren't you using the Linux box? It'll work.
Cool. I'm a Chromebook user too.
Is that what you're on now, Drew? A Chromebook?
Not right now. I'm on Windows 11, but I have a Chromebook with Linux installed on it, and I've got all of the Linux apps installed on my Chromebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got several of those.
I've got a Chromebook that used to have Chrome OS, but is now completely converted to Linux.
Yeah.
So
right now I'm on Windows, and if I wanted to go over to my external enclosure, I could be on a different Linux.
Mhm.
Mm.
So our
Which
next meeting will be next Tuesday. That will be tips and tricks. I'll be sending out a meeting notification soon. And then after tips and tricks, Tim, what do we have?
On the 15th is South Side. The 17th is Northwest. And the 22nd is Linux.
Okay. With that being said, if there's no other last questions, I'll conclude our meeting tonight. Any last questions?
Save the chat, everybody, if you need to.
Yeah, that's anybody other than the host. You have to go over to the chat, bring that box up, go to the top. There's 3 little buttons. Click that, and it says Save Chat. Click it, and when this is logged off, it will put in a Zoom folder in your Documents folder on Windows that chat, and then you can review it with a simple notepad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a quick question, but
Yes.
it's very quick. I'm still looking at this Malwarebytes. It's still on its first step of checking for updates for 54 minutes.
Why is it checking for updates?
I don't think it installed correctly.
You might want to kill it and start over.
Kill it and start all over. It should not take this long to do this, Tom.
It should only take about less than a minute.
Only. Updates
Okay.
only should take no more than 5 minutes tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For updates. So, yeah. All right. That's easy enough to do. Thank you.
Yeah. Just that you may want to reboot, redo it, reinstall it, run it again.
Okay. Yeah. Something's not right because it shouldn't take more than a few minutes.
Right.
The only thing I can think of, if you get the right kind of malware, it may be trying to stop it from working.
Could be.
Hey, a lot of the malware, the first thing that gets attacked is your AV programs and other programs like Malwarebytes and Super Antivirus, etc., etc. take down all the blockades, including your firewall, and have a wide open West system that they can get into easily and take total control of.
Then again,
That-
there is the Windows Defender, which has a protected folders function, which is the ransomware protection. And if that is engaged, it may block a function like that,
Right.
like updating.
So
Yeah,
it
but
may
that-
have blocked the install even.
I don't think he's on 11 right now. I think he's still on 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
even Windows 10 has Windows Defender.
Yeah, but it not as robust as 11.
No, but it'll still do the same tricks sometimes.
Okay. With that being said, I will conclude our recording.
Recording stopped.